internal clock, a deregulation of your circadian rhythms. A deregulation of your circadian rhythms. Your word circadian was coined by scientists in the 1950s from the Latin words circa, approximately, and day, a rhythm that operates in a cycle of around 24 hours, predicting when the sun will rise allows the brain to release wake-up chemicals such as orexin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. Norepinephrine, and to suppress endogenous chemicals such as melatonin, adenosine, and GABA that might make us want to roll over and go back to sleep. Melatonin, adenosine, GABA. Orexin, dopamine, norepinephrine. Yes. Biological clocks evolved early in evolutionary history when most cells were licensed to activity in synchrony with the light-dark cycle. The clocks are wired into the genes. Plants use photosynthesis and intercellular clocks to detect the length of the days. Biological clocks help plants prepare for sunrise and by raising their leaves, tilting them toward the sun, and preparing their internal factories to perform photosynthesis, converting sunlight into nutrients. So much so that when tissue from biological clocks of young animals has been transplanted into the older animals live longer. The master clock in mammals, circadian rhythms, rely on three separate processes. An input system that takes in information from the environment, consisting of cues such as light-dark cycles, and a food consumption data received by and prepared or see later. To regulate them, we evolved a master clock in humans, and this is located within hypothalamus in a structure called an suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. The developmental science approach seeks to understand the interaction between genes, culture, and opportunity. Biological clocks are a fascinating example of this. They function by taking input from the environment, primarily light, but also your eating schedule and your own activity cycle, which are influenced by the culture. Light, whether it arrives from the rising sun or the little blue light on your cell phone charger, can turn particular genes on and off, changing the timing of the when the producing proteins and influencing a biological clock and our circadian rhythms. Daylight or lack of it can speed up or slow down circadian rhythms. All of these interacts with our aging process in a variety of ways. Here is one example. Light, and a blue light in particular, is necessary to program the biological clock. Cataracts in which accompany aging are yellow and so they tend to block out the blue light. Consequently, cataracts can restrict the amount of blue light that reaches the retina, and in turn diminish an important neural signaling to the pineal gland and SCN. In some cases, cataract surgery has restored sleep quality to adults and by allowing more blue light during the day, and thus restoring healthy melatonin release schedule. But the blue light near bedtime, such as from cell phone, alarm clock, and computer, can stimulate the pineal gland and make it more difficult to fall asleep. What you eat, how much you exercise, and how much you sleep are important. But in the past few years, neuroscientists and chronobiologists, people who study biological clocks have come to understand that when you eat, when you exercise, and when you sleep may be just as important. This is particularly true of adults. The gastrointestinal tract has a powerful circadian clock of its own, as it is a home to billions of microbiota, also called the microbiome. Everyone's microbiome is unique, and the organisms that make it up and have their own clocks, Research on the microbiome is still in its infancy, but early evidence points to the possibility that what and when you eat can influence the microbiomic clock, the circadian rhythms of your microbiota, and further, that your microbiome can send information out to the master clock in your CN to influence its timing. In addition, CN suprachiasmatic nucleus in the hypothalamus can regulate the microbiome through the triggering production of the cyclic glucocorticoid, insulin, and other timing and rhythm altering substances. As you probably know, people differ in terms of the time of the day when they are most fresh and alert. In a 5-year pale lens, I'm Oliver and my wife is Night Owl. We have a different chromotypes. Different chromotypes has a general basis with their interactive with environment and experience. Years of staying up late, consistently, and exposure to light beyond the sundown can cause changes in gene expression that shift the chronotype at a genetic level. But this doesn't always happen. A great many shift workers live in a conflict with their inherent chronotype, and this is responsible for accidents and depression and loss of productivity. The aging clock. As we age, the signaling to and from the sun degrades. Part of this insulin deficit is due to loss or degradation of the neurosystems myelin, and a part of due to an overall age-related depletion of neurochemicals and hormones. This is partly why older adults can have trouble in getting to sleep between at 5 in the morning and when their dinner at 4:30 in the afternoon roots the master clock. Accounting for changes in sleep, waking, and eating cycle. Some evidence indicates that the problem is with the integrity of a neuron in the CN cell. Transplanting young tissue into the skin of the hamsters improves the clock synchrony of aging hamsters and increasing their lifespan. This is suggested in good circadian rhythm may be related to longevity. We are a long way off from being able to do transplants in humans, but the results of these experiments and help us to understand the vulnerabilities of aging clock and offer direction for longevity increasing research. A phase advance as we age, people are more likely to become morning types as we age. Degradation of vasopressin signaling is responsible for increased fermentation for the wake-up activity cycle and for disruption of core body temperature rhythms and more frequent urination, all lead to poor sleep quality and quantity, resulting in an increase in daytime drowsiness. The functioning of the biological clock is disrupted in an even greater degree in dementia. Post-mortem studies on dementia patients in the brain show sharp degradation of the hypothalamus and CN. These affects more than just eating and sleeping. Then the time of the day, function, alertness, and the performance. They become sharply emphasized when we age. Adults after age of 60 or so begin to show performance differences in a range of psychological tests, memory, problem solving, spatial intelligence, reasoning, fine motor coordination, and athletic performance. Test them in the morning and then normal. Test them in the mid to late afternoon and they show reducing performance. The time point is valuable. It could be an age of 50, 60, 70, or 80, depending on the interaction of genes, cultures, and environment. Disrupted circadian rhythms will clearly identifiable external cause are an early warning sign of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and Huntington's disease, chronic inflammation, and cancers. Repetitive disturbances of the circadian rhythm, particularly from the frequent time zone shifts and irregular exposure to light, have now been implicated in a variety of diseases, including metabolic syndrome, immune deficiencies, and bone and muscle weaknesses, cardiovascular disease, and cancer, and a shortened lifespan. Travel. One of the most well-known functional biological clock is in control of release of melatonin promote sleep. Your body makes less melatonin. When you're young, the biological clock is more flexible, malleable, and it can react to environmental changes quickly. As we get older, resetting the biological clock can take longer, much longer. Phase advances and a shift to the waking up earlier and going to bed earlier than usual are more difficult for older adults to recover them. Phase advances show no differences between older and younger adults. Sleep hygiene. If you are sleep deprived, and which refers not just to the amount of sleep you've gotten over the past few days, but also to the quality of that sleep, you will tend to notice in post-lunch sleep more, and you will notice it more as you age. Sleep hygiene involves avoiding bright lights before bed, sleeping in a completely dark room. Get blackdown currents if you need to, and going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. Now that we know about these circadian rhythms, this makes sense. Your biological clock expects you to go to sleep at a certain point within a 24-hour cycle. It adjusts in your core body temperature, slow digestion, releasing melatonin, reprocessing dopamine, and oversees dozens of regulation. If you go to sleep earlier or later than usual, these cycles are a little out of sync with an effect that you're sleeping. Sleep quality is impaired. Diet is also important too. Eating within 2 hours of bedtime can decouple the central circadian rhythms from those in your liver, stomach, and intestine. What you eat can also be a factor. Alcohol is also disrupting sleep cycles and circadian rhythms, and a high-fat diet tend to advance in the clock. A practical implication of this is that if you need to stay up late, eat fatty foods like these fiction and virtually every late-night TV commercials. Light-therapy melatonin treatments are the most effective means of resetting circadian clock, especially in the East. They're also effective in people with an Alzheimer's-related or mild cognitive impairment. It's impossible. It's possible. Okay. There is a It's possible that these treatments may also prevent or delay the onset of Alzheimer's disease itself. Melatonin treatment, cognitive performance improved, and agitated behavior was reduced. You may have heard of an seasonal affective disorder, which causes a mood and concentration disturbances triggered by the shorter, greater days of the winter. Melatonin levels tend to rise about 14 hours after waking. If you get 8 hours of sleep every night and wake up at 6 a.m., that means your melatonin levels will naturally rise around 8 p.m. and you will start to get sleep and then go to bed 2 hours after that around 10 p.m. If it takes about an hour for the melatonin pill to absorb into your bloodstream, that means you're taking one about 3 hours before bedtime. The next most effective treatment after light therapy and melatonin is moderate late afternoon or early evening exercise, like going outside for a walk. The combination of all three is the best. Caffeine. Caffeine is one of the most widely consumed mind-alerting substances in the world. For many people, it enhances wakefulness, alertness, and focus and can assist in establishing or changing circadian rhythms, particularly when crossing time zones. Peak performance. At the beginning of the book, I introduced the concept of health span versus digispan, the amount of time you are able to avoid a declining health and live fully productive and self-sufficient life. There is a parallel concept called the productivity span that can apply not just for arc of your life, but also to the arc of a single day. There are times of the day when you are at your best and other times when you are not. The most obvious explanation for this is that there are individual differences among athletes and differences in the demands of various sports. I've touched on the way in which the effectiveness of the eating, exercise, and sleep in maintaining optimal health and vigor is dependent on our body's natural rhythms. Okay, you can see that they are connected through the circadian rhythms. That decoupling can cause problems, especially in old age. When our bodies are less resilient, in the next three chapters, I will colleague on these three key components in our daily lives and reveal more of what we know about optimizing and tweaking them to give us a maximum benefit. Now my BS that is kicking it. Writing best-selling books does not make an authority, and in fact, tomatoes are good for you, especially when cooked, as is shown in solid peer-reviewed studies. The lycopene can contain decreases in the risk of prostate and breast cancer, heart disease, osteoporosis, and other chronic diseases. Now my BS detector is going haywire. Performing surgeries and whether it's 1 or 1,000 doesn't give you any scientific data on what people should eat. By the end of the ad, we learned that he's selling a line of supplements he created. Okay, every 10 years or so, it seems scientists have a completely different view about what we should and shouldn't eat to promote longevity and health. The meatless diet, no fat diet, the no carbohydrate diet or carb diet, the paleo diet offers fat, wasting and meat and sugar, then carbs, which breaks down into sugar. You'll be forgiven for thinking that scientists don't know what they're talking about. The problem here has to do with an economics and logistics of the properly applying the scientific method. The scientific problem is that people who eat different foods may have other differences as well that we are not keeping track of. Different tendencies to exercise at night, sleep duration, attitudes toward medicine, hydration, and different daily stresses in the world. This goes to the core theme of personal psychology and individual differences and versus generalizations neuroscience allows. What you really want is to be able to take people who are identical in every lifestyle metric and then tell them exactly what to eat, putting them in one belief completely under the experimental's control. We infer that smoking is bad, but it has not been shown in controlled experiment in humans, just rodents and monkeys. Similarly, we infer that saturated fats and sugars are bad, but we don't have controlled experiments that prove that. So the history of directed research has been hobbled by lack of control experiments and by the very real possibility that there are individual differences in the ways that people metabolize food, nutrients, and their glucose metabolism, the activity of lipoprotein lipase, an enzyme that promotes fat storage versus fat oxidation, and the genetic factors. What is clear is that there are no data yet to help clinicians match a patient's food metabolic genotype to the optimally beneficial diet. The new field of nutrients and genomics promises to fill with this gap. But these gaps don't mean that we know nothing. The last 15 years in research have moved us in a closer goal of an understanding of diet and effects. Health, well-being, and longevity. Our digestive systems in today's a product of tens of thousands of years of hominid evolution. Our ancestors in the Paleolithic age, about 15,000 years ago, subsisted by the gathering plants and fishing and by hunting or scavenging wild animals. As a result, in their diet primarily lean meat, fish, fruits, vegetables, roots, eggs, and nuts. This is so-called the Paleolithic diet and a paleo diet. This diet is based on the fact that we have not evolved to eat high amounts of sugar, salt, etc. animal fats that are in a typical American diet. Those are the products of technology and industrial food production that our bodies, our genetics have not yet caught up to.